Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific. For about an hour and 90 minutes. We talk about 3 different gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week. And we run it live on YouTube. We're simulcasting it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the live comments that come in from the people watching us live. Then same thing over at YouTube. When it's all over, we'll take the audio from that and post it as a podcast on iTunes. So we encourage everybody who's listening to the show now or in the future to leave us some feedback. Lets us know where people are listening, and it helps the show to be recommended to more listeners. So we always appreciate that favor. There are 5 of us hosts. 3 of us are in here right now. We've got Smeggy jumping in from Michigan. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Good. Then we got Dano jumping in from Illinois.
Glad to be here.
Right on. Looked like we had Bob poking around out there in our show notes, so he's probably someplace in New Mexico or anywhere in the galaxy because he was in Roswell yesterday. And then I'm down here in Arizona, and a little later when he's done with his 9 to 5, or one of his 9 to 5s, Z will jump in for a bit as well from Maui. All right, so today is episode 288. We've been doing this for 287 episodes. This will be our next one. On Wednesdays, we talk about CCW. So today we're going to be talking about ammo for the entertainment segment. Why have some movies gotten better with gunplay and manipulation? That should be fun. And then today is Wednesday, so we do our tactical quiz on Wednesdays. Of course, at any moment we could have our tactical pop quiz. That's totally random, and
Even during the show intro.
It's happened during the show intro before. Then we talk about a gun shop every day, gun movie, things like that. So before we dig into our schedule, we usually take a break at the beginning like this to see if anything happened overnight, anything worth talking about.
Not that I really know of, but I've kind of been checked out from the news. So,
Not news-wise for myself, but I did have an interesting day at the range yesterday. A couple of things happening.
Okay, are we going to talk about those later or talk about those now?
One of them we will talk about later, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't have anything either because I've been doing taxes, which is super fun. Anyway, so I guess we'll dig into the show. So we've got CCW is our first topic for Wednesday, and today it's carry ammo. So where do we want to take this one?
I don't know. What? It's my opinion. I know a lot of people will kind of get wrapped up in what type of ammo, and this one's got 2 foot-pounds more force than this other one, or look, it's got a little more expansion. But I honestly think nowadays, if you grab some hollow point ammo from some company, you'll be fine. Like, all the like Hornady or something, like, you're good to go. Don't worry about it. So I don't nerd out on carry ammo like some other people do.
Can you define, and maybe, because I don't want to assume what you mean by some companies' defense ammo?
Yeah, like a name brand company.
So if Joe and Bob load XTP bullets, which are known to be very effective in reloads, is that acceptable?
I don't know who Joe and Bob are, so probably not. But I mean,
well, they're the pseudo. It could be Freedom Munitions puts an XTP bullet.
Well, that's different. Okay, Freedom Munitions, I actually do trust their reloads. Joe and Bob, I don't. So you know what I mean? Like, I guess when I said some company, I just meant like a name brand, a company that's known for making pretty good stuff. And it's just too many to list. So I guess my whole thing is don't really worry about what ammo type. And maybe you guys are different and you got to get the best, expansion, or this one has a tiny bit more penetration or whatever. then I know like people like to argue about that kind of stuff. I'm just of the opinion most of them are pretty good. So go with whatever.
So and again, this is just for clarification, not arguing. So you equate Freedom Musicians as most likely just as good as Hornady or Spear Gold Dots or Federal HSTs. That they're all equal across the board.
Right. Well, when they use the Hornady bullets, I think that their loading capabilities are just as good. And the projectile's good because that's a known, trusted projectile. So, yeah, I would be fine with them. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of it. Like, I can't think of an example where it wouldn't be good. I guess like Joe and Bob. Okay, if it's some dude down the street, no, I'm not carrying his in my carry ammo. But if it's a big enough company that's pretty well known and it to be reliable, especially, obviously try it out first and whatnot. And I don't have a problem with some reloaders as long as they're like the big company type.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But other than that, just get Winchester or Hornady or I don't know, whoever.
Or Freedom Munitions.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay. Well, I say that not trying to put you in a corner, but just to make sure I'm understanding your position correctly. Okay, my position, which is kind of like, I'll call it a hybrid kind of position, is I have no problem with Freedom Munitions at all. In fact, I purchased thousands of rounds from them in the past years, but I use them for what I call range ammo, practice ammo. I have no problem if there is a 2% failure rate if I'm saving a significant sum because I am practicing, and failures when you're practicing is a good thing. Because you want to practice how to deal with failures. I mean, whether it's a failure ejector, failure to load, those things happen in the real world, even with higher quality ammunition. But that said, I'm going to use the phrase cheap out. You use whatever phrase you want in place of that. When it comes to my carry ammo, it's the consistency, and nothing is 100%, nothing. But I want to get as close to 99.999 as I can. And if I can get that extra 1.9 by going to either 50 cents a round, 75 cents a round, even $1 a round, if that's what I need to do for my carry ammunition, I will not cheap out, and I will do that. And that's what separates me from going to Freedom Munitions, just as an example, for my range ammo and buying several thousand for the range versus buying several hundred Federal HSTs or Spear Gold Dot or Hornady Critical Defense or Critical Duty. I forget which one is which, but those sorts of things is I split it into two very differences. I will make no sacrifices when it comes to my carry ammo, even if it's money that I could have spent elsewhere, because I'm looking for extreme consistency. And I can't expect that out of Freedom. I know that. I've experienced thousands of their rounds.
Well, I guess I have a different experience with them then, because I've experienced thousands of rounds and I've never had a failure. So,
right. Well, and that, like I said, I'm not saying your position is wrong. I'm simply explaining my own position, and we're kind of going to take this one at a time. And I guess G-Webs would probably be next. If he's.
So I like brand name also for lot numbers and that kind of consistency. If they ever need to research your ammo or something, or buy a box for some kind of a lab or something, it's possible to get batch numbers off your box and then find other items from that batch number. So like you said, just having somebody reload for you, hand reload, is probably least appealing option out of those. But as far as the type, I mean, they put technology and advancements into ammo, so to say all ammo is the same, I wouldn't agree with. Also, quality control and experience come into play, and bigger the company, probably more established consistency. And as far as the projectiles themselves, like say they're engineered, they're designed, they spend a lot of money on that. Sometimes it's just for show, I guess you could assume that, or you could ignore the differences in the projectiles, just saying that it's fads or something. But put a lot of time and effort into those. So a lot of people concentrate on that stuff. So depending on, I don't know, I mean, regular people in places in the country where it gets cold and hot, you know, there's actually seasons, might make a difference what ammo you're carrying, because you might have different issues with what the person might be wearing. So you know, heavy clothes, heavy coats and stuff versus you know, summer shorts and t-shirts kind of stuff.
Well, I guess I just want to reiterate, I wasn't necessarily saying that all ammo is the same or anything. I just was saying that the advancements in technology are fairly similar. And so, you know, as long as you get one of the name big ones or whatever, like, you know, one of the trusted bullets, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, and I guess the difference I was calling out was the quality control, which although they may be using the latest powder, the latest primers, the latest bullets, but it's, are they doing the quality control in the back end in modern ways, or are they cutting corners in regards to quality control? Because it's an area that a company can, you know, regardless of what they're making, can cut corners, and depending on how critical the product is that they're making will determine on how important that quality will be. To me, there's few things more important than something I'm going to put my life possibly on the line, whether it's a fire extinguisher and not cheaping out, and or whether it's self-defense ammo and not cheaping out.
Yeah, but do you get bogged down in the different types of ammo though? Like, are you one that really cares about, oh, critical duty is, you know, half-inch better than critical defense and gel, or like, do you get all nerded out on that kind of stuff, or do you just say, okay, all of them are fairly good and just pick the one you like?
No, they have a reason. There are differences in them, so I think I acknowledge the differences in them. I don't believe it's all just marketing.
Right, and I would agree with that. You know, it's not that I feel that there's only one that everybody should be using, but there I you know, I see it as, you know, there's a group of top tier defense ammunition makers, and then there's other people that just so happen to make self defense ammunition and are still using 1980s tech. Because a hollow point is not a hollow point. It's not a hollow point. I realize you understand this, Miggy. I'm really speaking more to the audience. Because there are people still selling that kind of stuff out on the market.
The old established follow back is to find out what your law enforcement's carrying, and it's real difficult for somebody in court to suggest that you're carrying something that's extra lethal or extra potent or somehow has some connotation to it if you're using the exact same stuff that the law enforcement, the police in the area are using.
Unless the jurors hate police and think that they're all a bunch of evil thugs.
I don't think a good attorney would allow that kind of people in the jury if it's a jury trial. But it's possible, I suppose. You're right.
That's more of an issue of how good of an attorney do you have than the issue itself.
So Bob's been carrying recently more, maybe. So what are your thoughts on carry ammo, Bob?
I don't know. One of the problems is with getting ammo in Canada is they don't really have defense ammo per se, or it's not very common. So I ended up, the best I could find for my high power was Zombie Max, which of course is just, you know, is defense ammo that's got green tips instead of red. But yeah, I will spend extra dollars to get, you know, what I consider a better quality ammo.
Well, the specific one is interesting because if you ever had to justify anything in court, and I'm sure the other attorney is going to, the attorney that's going against you is going to bring up the marketing on that package in your state of mind.
I'm sure, and it would just be, well, that was what was available in my store. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but they're not necessarily always hitting on the truth. They're hitting on the perception of, well, clearly the defendant didn't take this thing seriously. Look what he bought.
Yeah,
that's the implication that the prosecutor is going to make.
Right. And you just have to make sure that your attorney knows that the reasoning behind it, and then can to to the jury's attention that because of where you live and availability, and that the performance aim is the regular one, the only difference being the color of the tips.
Right. Being able to clearly explain or justify why you chose that, as opposed to why you were, marketed
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. No matter what you choose to carry, even if you're carrying reloaded, there might be, at least that'd be an element of it, like how well you can express your decision making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and and what's available, right? I mean, you can say, well, the reasoning behind carrying an expanding bullet is so you don't get that pass through, or there isn't as much chance of the pass through. So that has to be probably in a lot of cases explained to juries if they don't know about guns.
Well, okay then. Did we solve carry ammo?
There was. I was just thinking historically for a moment. There was something in the past that has a current analog to the Zombie Max, and that's Black Talon ammo that was available during the 80s. Is it has such a reputation of, just by its name, is of being an extremely overkill in regards to its abilities. And of course, it's not. But that's the image that it portrayed, which is today its analog is Zombie Max. Oh, look, it's so good, it'll even kill zombies. Now, granted, we all know that's not true, but it's people's perceptions, not necessarily reality.
Yes, but that's also because there aren't zombies yet.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't really want hollow points for zombies, I don't think. I would much rather have something that was just a hard bullet, then you're getting through the skull. And if you do have pass through, you'll probably kill the zombie behind him. So that's okay.
Hopefully.
But yeah, no, the Black Talon's a good example of where people freaked out over something. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that what Ranger T is? Just Black Talon, only they didn't color it black. Like it's the exact same thing, and that they've been making it ever since.
XST, and I don't think it's exactly the same, but pretty close. The mass and the composition of the bullet, but they don't put that Teflon stuff on it, which makes it different. I mean, it's not like they reapplied Teflon; they just removed that part of it. So it's going to make a difference to some extent, I think.
But it's a lot similar, right? I mean, it's pretty darn similar, and no one has a problem with that stuff, which is kind of interesting.
Well, that's more because with all the hype, gave that Talon, at the national level, some attention at the national level. So everybody all of a sudden is an expert on it, I guess, or at least is aware of it. And probably same thing as Zombie Max. If you're going to go back and find Talons now, it's almost like you went out of your way and paid extra money to get those Talons. Why?
So what are your guys' thoughts on some of like the what do you call them, like the super lightweight, like super fast type rounds for self-defense? You think that's a valid thing, or more just kind of marketing?
I don't acknowledge them as being a thing. They're just an option that some people think is valid. I just don't see any value in that option.
Yeah, I think I don't think we've got enough information on them as in real life data as to how good they're really going to be in a real life situation. So, give them another couple of years and see, find out how they perform in real life. They're interesting, but because anything that's got high velocity is interesting. But like I say, there's just not enough real world data right now.
Yeah, in regards to carry ammunition, I personally want something that has a reasonably clear history and science behind it, rather than something that might be on the bleeding edge of technology, regardless of whether it's just a flash in the pan or something that honestly works. I'll consider it after it has proven itself out in the field. And at this point, those sorts of things have not done so. You know, the same is also true of some of the, I believe the name brand I want to say is RIP. Is that the one that has, like, they call them tri-cars, where they split apart instead of a traditional hollow point that spreads open, where these little tiny pieces in just mass are so tiny that it's more like a mental splinter than an actual, what we would think of as a projectile going through a body and incurring any sort of actual tissue damage.
Yeah, well, I think the idea with that is that because it does break apart and they all kind of go off in a different direction, the likelihood of hitting something vital will go up because they all go in a different direction. So if you kind of hit them in the side, one of those pieces might shoot over and, you know, nick something important and put the bad guy down faster.
It might, but, you know, we were talking about, you know, very small projectiles, and that's an example of where, yeah, there's numerous, I think 12 or something like that, I forget the exact number, but they are so tiny in size and mass that they're going to slow down incredibly fast, as well as there's not a mass for any penetration nor any serious tissue damage. So again, it's an example of something that has clearly not proven itself, at least up to this point. And I want something that has some history behind it and is still currently being used and trusted by people who are out there every day who have to carry a gun for a living. So, anything else on self-defense ammo?
No, I think we solved it as much as you can.
Yes, I know you can't believe it, but yes, it is true. It is time for the tactical pop quiz of the day. Smeggy, are you aware of the answer?
I think so.
Okay. And I'm going to attempt to share a picture. Just a moment here. I'm trying to change screens.
So you're saying this is a visual pop quiz?
Yes. My camera's in the way. Excuse me while I screw up my camera. Can't seem to click on the right thing all of a sudden. All right. Okay. Everybody see this picture? And G-Webs, if you can click on it so the entire audience can see it. G-Webs?
Yeah, well, I have to acknowledge verbally that I did that right before you asked for it. Go ahead.
Okay, didn't realize that. All right. So the question is in the picture you're looking at, I want you to tell the judge what happened in that picture. What are you seeing? It tells a story.
Stuck steel case in AK. Primer only went off. Overpressured case. Squib. Stovepipe. Wrong round in the chamber. Overpressured case. Wrong ammo. Overpressured case stuck in the chamber. Where are we going?
I'll accept an answer. You know the answer. If you feel one is close enough, that's good.
What? How did steel get close enough? Failure to eject, wrong cartridge. Failure to extract, case ruptured. AK-47 stuck case. Dano's fault.
I like that answer from Matt.
What were you saying?
Dano's
It was,
fault?
Dan? Wrong cartridge.
Maggie, are you seeing these answers?
I am seeing those answers.
Okay.
G-Webs is just reading them off. But
Oh, okay.
Harold.
Now, there were a number of answers that were very, very close.
Hand-loaded bullet in the chamber? No. It was 7.62 by 39. Measuring head space? Nope. High primer? Nope. Primer puncture? Nope. Although it might have been. I don't know. I can't see down the screen right now. Nope. Don't think so. You can see all the debris at the bottom. All the various debris all around. Bullet lodged in the barrel, preventing a round going into battery. Failure to know how to load your AK. Headspace problem. Are you going to take any of these down? 7.62 by 54.
I thought you were, because several of them were very close. I thought you were going to, remember I gave you both the ability to pick the one you thought was closest.
trying to shoot a gun not fully assembled. Pink, I think that picture was maybe taken after the fact.
Yes, the gun was disassembled to get that picture.
Back pressure. Injector failure. Failure to chamber. Double primer and round.
Okay, G-Webs, question to you. If you go backwards through time, whose answer do you feel is the closest?
None of these?
Yeah, everyone. Yeah, none of them. Maybe
No,
it was worded wrong of more of like what caused this to happen or something, right? Because everyone's saying like stuck case and all that, which, okay, it's probably stuck in there, but that's not what we're looking for.
You don't need more info. People are saying you need more info. This tells you what we're looking at. Hotel casing is wrong. No. So we're going to give them a hint since they're all.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I'll let you pick a hint.
Bob would say the name of Bob would say the answer weird.
He would. That's an awesome hint.
Loose space? No. Overpressure? No. Operator error? Nope. Didn't fire the last round after running a hot gun? Nope.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Decals is actually something that Bob would say that's funny, but it's not the actual answer to this one. Hand loading got bad? No. 7.62 by 39, so.
Yeah. Think of it, we're looking for the cause. A lot of you are naming what happened afterwards.
Why?
What
happened
caused
because of what this is? Excessive headspace? No. This is a gun that runs normally. Yep, it is going to be answered in Canadian. Canadian. Fired out of battery. Finally, we got the answer.
There you go.
Moon.
Yes, the sole cause of all the symptoms that have been described in answers is it was fired out of battery. And as a little bit of further information,
Battery.
it was a 7.62 by 39 AK where a 223 steel cased round got in the magazine and it fired it. And that was the result.
Oh, is that what you're saying? So that's a 223 case in there. So a whole bunch of people that had said wrong ammo in the chamber were actually right. Nobody said 5.56, although when you look at that a little bit closer, you can see that it is a little narrower than the chamber.
But the cause was fired out of battery.
Well, it fired out of battery, but you could say it's because you jammed the cartridge in there. So now I'm trying to go back and see if anyone actually said wrong cartridge, wrong round in chamber, Enrique Sonora, quite a while ago.
Yeah, a bunch of people were saying that kind of stuff, but I was waiting for the answer provided for me from Dano, which was out of battery.
Yep. So Bob would say, "Suck it up, Buttercup." Enrique had the technically correct answer, but we were looking for fired out of battery. So
remember, we're looking for Dano's. Looking for Dano's answer, not necessarily, grammar.
Well, and it
numerically
would be no
correct.
fun if we gave you a multiple choice and a bunch of people just chose one of the choices. So
Right.
anyway, that's the idea, is to have some fun with it.
Enrique is our winner today. Is that correct?
No, Moon.
Moon.
Technically accurate with the battery portion of it, and Enrique is the runner-up with the actual cause of the problem.
So who are we picking for today?
Moon unit.
Okay, Moon Unit Zappa. All right. Congratulations, Moon Unit Zappa. You are a tactical pop quiz winner for today. You know, but I'll mention it for anybody that doesn't. Head on over to dailygunshow.com/pop-quiz.
Are you smelling toast again, Dano?
No, somebody else is doing something. I think Oro has suddenly entered the chat.
Nope,
But fill out the form on dailygunshow.com. And congratulations, Moon Unit Zappa.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and say Moon Food, because I thought that's what his name was. You're today's tactical hot shot. Am I wrong on who that is?
No, you are correct. I was just making it up.
Okay, just making sure.
If he would have been
Anybody who
named
knows
by
Frank
Frank,
Zappa knows of Moon Unit Zappa.
if he would have been named by Frank Zappa, then his name would be Moon Unit and not Moon Food.
Yes, but it is not.
Okay, I just make sure he didn't like change his name or something.
You
And
were
I'm
confusing
going to go ahead and
Smeggy.
screen share while we have an opportunity here another picture that I have. Let me go ahead and shift over to that.
Zoom it in too. Control key and the scroll wheel on your mouse will zoom that.
Okay, this is what I first took this is a aluminum cleaning rod and see if I had a bullet stuck in the chamber. Once I confirmed that no, I didn't. In fact, it went all the way to the bottom of the case with 2 mild taps of a hammer. This is how the cartridge looked once it actually came out. What a 223 steel case looks like when it fires out a battery. So
Sure.
I thought that,
Or when it fires inside a 7.62 chamber, so there's nothing holding it there.
right. So I thought the picture was reasonably informative, as well as a tag on to things that do happen in the real world. And educational too, as far as, if you do purchase, have an AK and an AR, and the 222, 5.56, 223, or the 7.62 by 39, and get steel case in both. Mine look color-wise identical, although size-wise they are different. But a 223 bullet will indeed fit inside of an AK magazine, and fit and feed. So it's something to be aware of. Obviously, I'm a little bit more aware of it now than I was before.
Yeah.
But the firearm itself is, as best I can tell, undamaged. Rifling looks good all the way through. Chamber looks undamaged.
Did it blow your
But
dust
that's
cover
just
off on
a
it?
visual inspection.
What happened when that happened? Did the dust cover blow off, or just blow a bunch of crap out the mag well, or what happened?
It basically blew a certain proportion of gas back through the bolt carrier out the side, and moved the bolt carrier back about an inch. So it vented out the side and vented out the front. And that's all I have on that.
All right, well, I guess then we'll go on to the next segment of the show, which I can find my show notes over here, would be the entertainment segment.
What's
Oh, wait.
going on here?
Yeah. What? Anyway, we're going to go to the entertainment segment. Before we do, take a break and feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Each day we take a moment to feature some of the members over at Gun Channels, place we built.
All right, what's going on? You guys still there? My computer being crazy?
Yep, we're still here. You're just talking randomly and on top of it. So we featured one of the members over at Gun
What
Channels,
the
and
hell?
today I think we're going to feature Enrique Sonora since he got scammed out of the winner circle today. Enrique's a member from down here in Tucson. We met a couple of times, hung out before, went to a couple of shoots. I think a couple of shoots, and yeah, person we built Gun Channels for. So
Well, there was G-Webs. Are you guys still here?
yeah, we've been here the whole time. You
Yeah.
just keep doing stuff like an old man.
Maggie, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, that probably means we're still here then.
Okay. Well, I wasn't before. I didn't know if everyone was just being quiet after Dano talked, but my computer started flipping out at the same time. So I thought maybe I was being weird.
You're sure it was a
Probably
computer, right?
met with the question and the answer.
I can assure you, you are being weird.
But that's not abnormal for you.
So anyway, when we built Gun Channels a while back, we wanted to make a cool place for people to hang out who have interest in firearms and who come from different, whatever, interests in firearms. And Enrique, I think, personalizes all of that stuff. So thanks for being our member today, and thanks for hanging out.
For sure. Did I meet him when we were when I was in Tucson?
Maybe, I don't think he came to a gun show.
No, maybe not.
I don't think so.
Anyway, too bad. Next time,
Yep.
Enrique will have to go shoot.
Well, actually, yeah, he wanted to meet up this last time you were in town, and then you booked out of town before anybody could get a chance to meet up with you.
Yeah, I know. It was a shitty year.
I just want to acknowledge our audience. And Pink, I want to say I agree with you. The range tip is never let Dano load your magazines.
Is it
I think
still
that's a
okay
solid
for Dano
tip.
to buy your ammo, though? I mean, it's okay for Dano to buy the ammo. You just don't want him to actually load it.
Yes, that's right.
Oop, I'm still
But anyway,
So that'll
No.
take us into the entertainment segment. On Wednesdays, we talk about entertainment, guns and entertainment. And today, as the focus on why some gun movies have gotten better with the gunplay and manipulation. So, I mean, I think that's obviously the case. Do you think it's just because movies in general have to compete with each other more, and they need to, and they know that by adding that amount of effort, that it makes the movie more enjoyable for people? Or do you think it has anything to do with gun culture and just the fact that we appreciate that stuff and they are catering to us?
I think it's
I
because
see it. Go ahead, Dano.
okay, I see it because computer graphics have come so far in the past 20, 30 years that as far as their realism, that effects that actually have to be done, because they're not effects, are actually realistic hand movements that are made, or whether it's physical movements, whatever, had to up their game to compete with special effects. That the audiences demanded a more I hate to use the word realistic, but definitely a more tactical, at least in their minds, realistic entertainment experience to go along with those computer aided ones. Because there's some things that are computer aided that just don't look right. Physically, I mean, we're like trying to do a human face with computer graphics. It always looks a little bit one off. And there's certain things that, that you can't, a computer will never be able to beat a picture of the real thing being done.
I think it's just something that's just been generally going on with movies and TV. If you look at, they've just tried to get more realistic, and that's been something that's been happening forever, since they started making movies, basically. There was, in the Old West, the old Westerns from the 30s and 40s, they're terrible gun handling, right? In most cases, other than maybe the draw, and that was usually because the star wanted to, get good at it. But look at the way they would fire, and they never reloaded and all this. And then you saw, well, the first time I really noticed it was probably in the 70s or 80s with a TV show called Simon and Simon. And that was the first time I really noticed that, these guys were actually reloading their revolvers and stuff, and they were running out of ammo after 6 or 7 rounds, So, and then it just generally seems to have gotten better and better, and that might be the guys that are maybe supplying the guns, or maybe just the producers are saying, we want somebody to show you how to do this the right way so it looks more realistic. But it seems to have just generally gotten better and better as time has gone on. So I think it's just, that the movies are trying to get more realistic, and that's one of the ways they can do it.
No, I think you're right, Bob. I think it is an overall, like, general movement to be somewhat more realistic. But I'm also going to say that movies a lot of times will kind of copy off each other, and you that's where you get some of the cliches that like live on. Like back in the day, it used to be if you got shot with a shotgun, the dude would go flying backwards through the window or whatever. And like a bunch of other movies would show that because the other one did. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people that they think, the gun handling skills based on, what the movies do. Like, oh, that must be how to shoot a gun. And so the actors or whatever, or the different directors will look at how other movies did it and say, well, that must be the cool way to do it, so I'm going to have my person do it that way also. And so once a couple movies were like, you know what, that's dumb. We're not going to show it that way. We're going to show, reloads, and we're going to show two hands on the gun and different, tactics or whatever. And then all the other movies said, oh, I guess that's how you do it. So they just started copying them. So it's one of those things where it only takes a few movies to really get it right. And then all the other ones say, okay, I'm going to do it that way also.
No, that's a good point. I never, that's the different way of looking at it for sure. I tend to believe it's more got to do with the producers or the directors who want a really realistic movie. And so they're insisting that they have, an expert to show the actors, how to properly hold a gun, how to properly handle a gun, and that they're also the ones saying, well, you got to reload because realistically you have to reload. If you're in a 10-minute gunfight, you're not going to do it with one magazine, even if it's a Glock.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely it's a push, from the top, and that's where some places do still not care, even sometimes like TV shows and stuff. I'm trying to remember what the heck. Who was that? I don't remember. Someone was like the prop guy for something, and like he told the actors how to do stuff, and the director came in and was like, "No, we're not doing it that way." And the guy's like, "But that's not how guns work." And the director's like, "I don't care. We're doing it this way anyways." Is that on Walking Dead or something? I think it was. I remember seeing an interview with a dude who's like a prop master for, it was either movies or TV or whatever. I wish I could remember his name, but whatever. I remember the story of the prop guy teaching the actors how to do it correctly, and the director coming over and saying, "No, don't do it that way. We're going to do it like this." So sometimes it just looks cooler to do it a certain way.
There's a documented issue or example of that in the Glock book, the Glock Rise of America's Gun, where he goes into all the different aspects of the Glock and gun culture and talks about Die Hard 2. There was like Bob's saying, the gun handler or whatever, the gun wrangler person starting, who they pay to bring the guns and be in charge of them, told them all the stuff they needed to know about a Glock, and then whoever it was, like you're saying, the director or whatever, just decided that it would sound cooler to say whatever the hell they say in the movie, which was all wrong. So it was a deliberate, like, artistic thing or whatever to create that little back and forth between the characters or whatever. So they had no interest in trying or giving a shit about portraying guns correctly as much as just making a movie seem more interesting to them. Which, I don't know, it's hard to debate that because obviously everybody remembers that little interaction.
Mm-hmm. It's like when they have somebody cock a Glock,
Yeah, they know that people are used to hearing some sort of menacing noise when there's a gun involved or something. They don't care how the gun really works.
Well, that does always kind of bug me is when, the bad guys like holding people at gunpoint or whatever, and then to show they're serious, they rack around in the chamber, and I'm like, who the hell's running around without a round in the chamber? Like that just seems dumb. And then to show you're serious, you're gonna actually put a round in the chamber, like that's. But yeah, it's
around every time. Like, I'm gonna make sure this guy knows I mean business by losing a round.
right, exactly. I mean, it just. But you're right. The tension or the storytelling aspect is supposed to show like, okay, now it's serious because the guy actually, racked the slide. But in my opinion, I would if someone like did that to me in real life, I don't know if I would start laughing a little bit. Like, seriously, dude. Like, you should have just shot me. Why'd you have to do that first? I'm probably still gonna die, but that kind of pissed me off, and I might laugh a little bit about it first.
Here's another thing. I saw this when I was searching around Instagram. I'm screen sharing this page from this actor, and I saw this page. I think this post here one time, just by surfing internet or searching Instagram one day, and I was like, oh, this guy's over here. This actor's learning how to shoot from these guys, and he's saying, how much respect he has for these guys after learning how to shoot from them. I guess he's in some TV show where I think it's the Sniper TV show. So anyway, I was like, oh, okay, so that's sort of like that. Who's that guy? Keanu Reeves, and everybody's all excited that he trained up to do that Wick movie. So I was looking through here at this guy's thing because he's got like 301,000 subscribers, which is pretty big for Instagram. And I went through here, and what I thought was pretty much irony is you get to this one, and he's super proud that Hillary mentions him by name. So acknowledging a famous person is one thing, but being all appreciative of Hillary Clinton, that's a freaking dichotomy or juxtaposition, right? Or whatever you call that. Like, that's weird.
Oxymoron.
So I guess what I'm saying is, we got like Tom Cruise went to train for Collateral, Wick, that guy trained for that movie. Other people have trained for these movies from actual legitimate people, like people who know how to shoot, know how to, have experience real life or in competition or whatever. I guess I was going to say, do you think that that is having an influence on the Hollywood or whatever you'd call that? Like, since unless they're just don't give a shit after, they give it lip service that they care about, they respect these guys for what they offered them. But do you think any of that's coming through from, again, the amount of attention that these people get for putting in the work to learn how to work their guns effectively? Or is that just a blip on the radar?
It could be a potential. Yeah, like because you hang out with Taryn for a while, some of them's going to rub off on you or whatever, but...
Well, exactly. Like, how hard is it to say all gun owners are blah, 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 when Keanu Reeves is out there being a gun owner and proud of it, and Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or whoever are proud of it or something, and then it's like, wait a minute, how bad can these things possibly be if these people that we look up to as heroes are not against it? Although sometimes they are against it because they don't give a shit. They're just
right, and that's what I was getting to. That was where, but there's also the case of where the actor's looking at it just saying, okay, this is a skill I need for the movie, but guns are still bad. It's like they're just looking at it like they can learn from a really good trainer or something on how to use the tool effectively and use it correctly, but then still think that, oh, these are evil and, bad guys use them or whatever. So I hope that it changes Hollywood's opinion a little bit. And there are a handful of like pro-gun actors that have come out and said, oh yeah, these are cool and blah, blah, blah. So that might help. But the overwhelming tide is still against gun owners. Because even in those movies, it's always bad guys have the guns and the good guys only use them just because they have to, because bad guys have them. Oh no, run away. Like, they're still scary things. So we haven't fixed Hollywood yet.
But we can just keep slugging.
Or do we just let Hollywood die and don't worry about what it used to be?
It'll never die, though. It's just too big an industry. And people like it. They like being entertained by movies. I don't understand it, but,
Everybody needs saddles. It's not like horses are going to go extinct.
Well, they won't. they're pets now.
I mean, if it wasn't for Hollywood, how would we have a movie of the day?
Well, the thing is, you can have movies that aren't made in Hollywood. I honestly, I think that's kind of silly in this day and age with how much easy communication there is from all across the world and all over the place, and yet actors and actresses and stuff still move to California in order to get a big break because that's where all the people live. Like it doesn't make sense to me. You should be able to make movies like all over the place. It doesn't need to be Hollywood.
They do, but the actors and actresses want to live in Hollywood.
Well, some might, but
I mean, once you're discovered, yeah, you can live where you want to live, but until you're discovered, you have to go to the mountain. The mountain's not going to come to Muhammad.
I'm just saying. I think that's kind of like the old way of thinking of that. There's these couple of movie studios, and they make everything that we watch. And I just see it in the future, more and more independent type stuff from wherever. It can be just as entertaining as, like the new Captain America or whatever. So I don't know. I think there's hope in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is really a euphemism for places where movies are made. I mean, it can be Canada, it can be Bollywood in India. It's just a pseudonym for those sorts of things.
Well, that's interesting when you compare it to other countries, because how can those other countries ever know guns, really? If we're trained anywhere near correctly.
Right, and that's where a lot of them are.
Yeah, there's guns in India that I'm aware of, so how would they know how the guns are really?
Well, I mean, like in Bollywood, they're aiming for a different audience than necessarily a film made in Canada, but really for the North American audience.
Well, there's
Yeah,
different
another point.
where
Movies made for us anymore? Movies are made here, but they're made for international distribution. So I'm sure to some extent
That's true.
they're going to everybody at this point. They need to make that money back on the global scale. They can't just make all their money back in the United States anymore. Not with as much as they spend.
No, not at the cost. Yeah, because the cost of movies has just gone. It's astronomical.
So we spend a lot of time and effort talking to representatives and people like that because those are the laws. But maybe there's something to be said for doing some sort of a campaign to get Hollywood a little bit more correct, I guess, technically correct, and through culture or whatever. Could that change opinions on guns?
No, I think it could in a heartbeat, really. If you can get Hollywood to start treating guns properly, and showing the due respect they should have, that would be a big difference, or make a big difference in the way people see them and view them.
Brett on the gun channel side makes a good point that there are fewer. Well, no, and there's more in independent companies now, and we need to encourage them or endorse them. So yeah, I think that's right. You go watch, watch a movie that's awesome, that's independent at the movie theater. Make sure they get the click and the money. Watch your Matt Damien stuff, buy a rented DVD, or not even a rented, but buy a DVD at a pawn shop or something, so that there's no way that company or him is getting any residuals from it. So really this question is, well, I guess it is why, but I was going to say, if we look at it like, have movies got better with real gunplay manipulation? I'd say yes. I think they're way better. It's way more enjoyable to watch a movie where at least they pay some attention to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think they will continue that way, at least in the near future, if not further out, because, like Bob had mentioned and I had said earlier, they're trying to be more realistic, and they're all like copying off each other and trying to outdo each other as much as possible. So it's like, oh, you have a realistic gun handling? Well, look, I have even more realistic. Like, this is actual SWAT tactics. Like, we had a whole team come in and teach us how to do it, or different things.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they did that. If you look at if I remember right, when I was looking at the DVD extras from that movie SWAT, a horrible movie based off the TV show, I think they actually were at the law enforcement places shooting, I think, and had some kind of experts, but nobody really paid attention. That wasn't that long ago. I think it was the 90s. Maybe it was the 2000s, but it seems like it's definitely been more, I don't know, more promoted or more known when these guys, like ever since Collateral, I think. Maybe it was just because I was paying attention because they said Front Sight in there, and I'd been to Front Sight before, and I thought that was interesting. And he's a Scientologist and all that, so Cruz is a Scientologist, and the guy who runs it is supposedly a Scientologist. So I guess there was some extra attention because of that. But I think that was the first movie where you saw a better movie because of the way the guy was so efficient with his gun manipulation that it looked different. It was a different movie than your typical actor acting like he knows how to work a gun, with the speed and the cadence and the knowledge of how to draw and how to reholster and not making it like, now the gun came out, dun, 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 and then here's the thing, and now the gun goes away. It's just the gun was used to do this or that. Okay, dead air seems like we should probably move on then. So we've solved guns and movies. If you have stuff to follow up, reason we do these topics like this is not because we're authorities on the matter and we're dictating to you how it is. We just want to get conversation started. We're here to encourage and inspire people to do their own content. So if you're shaking your fist at the screen because we didn't catch something or we're wrong, we encourage you to create something of your own, either a YouTube video, a Facebook post, a blog. Go get your own blog. It's super cheap. If you're going to put something on Instagram, a meme or something, take these kernels, these seeds, and run with them. That's really the point of our whole show.
Yep. And before we move on into our next segment, I just want to ask, if you're listening to us on YouTube, if you could do us a favor and just take a moment to subscribe to Daily Gun Show, I would appreciate it very much. It would help us once we get up to a certain point of enabling additional features and helping the show move forward. So thank you.
And if you're listening anywhere else, also go over to YouTube and subscribe.
All right, and with that, I think we can. I think my mouse might be broken. With that, we'll move on to this gun shop of the day. So I'm guessing Dan will put this one in here. Every day we like to feature a new gun shop, something that's maybe unique or interesting or just a cool bunch of people. He's muted, so maybe he didn't. Did Bob put this in here? Bob wasn't in Illinois. There we go. But you're still me. You are saying stuff. You're reading.
I did go look at 2 gun shops today in.
Where are you? Where are you?
Right now, I'm in. I'm not sure where I am right now. I'm scared. I had a catastrophic day. It was crazy.
I don't know if Dan was going to actually tell us anything about the shop or just show us their Facebook page, but it's called Smokin' Gun Works in Foreston, Illinois.
I was trying to, and then Bob started talking about some other. I didn't know. Is Bob going today or am I going today?
No, you can go ahead. I'll do the ones tomorrow. I haven't uploaded them to the cloud yet. So.
All right. There's a gun store in Foreston, Illinois called Smokin' Gun Works, and they've been around for quite some time. And they've recently had a new building built, and it is. I took a tour of it yesterday before I went to the gun range, and it for being in a small town of less than 1,000 people. I mean, I live in a town of several thousand people, and we have nothing gun related. This is a town of just under 1,000, and it actually blew my mind away. And right now in the main picture we're looking at is the automated gun range where those targets, and I'll show a part of a movie clip in just a moment, actually move back and forth programmed, and it will turn sideways and then turn front and face you and then kind of like jiggle a little bit to give you the impression that it's about to turn, but it doesn't really turn.
That's pretty cool. I can remember going to indoor ranges really all the time where they get all mad if you shoot at the thing while it's moving. So that's cool that they incorporate that into the range.
Right, and this is one of them. I'm going to try to show right now. You can't hear the audio, but it's kind of a demonstration of what the target looks like. Can y'all see that?
Yes. Weird looking target, or is that just its backer?
Yeah, that's just the backer. But that's just to show, and it goes back and forth as well. And then the other one, which is like upstairs, and they have both. They also have below that, it's 2 stories, a standard range, which simply goes out to a fixed distance and then stops. And then on the top floor, they have this room where they have scenario training with the clocks that have blue slide on it. But you could be anything from you want to go in there and do simulation training for police type work, or somebody coming on behind you at the ATM. You can do that sort of thing, as well as they have stuff in there for like kids parties. And this is another one that I wanted to show, where you see this kid there, and he's shooting at balloons. And you know, it's a short little video, but it's what did I do now? But supposed to play again, but for some reason something else is happening. Oh, there it is. But they have all sorts of scenarios set up both for kids to go out and have fun, you know, whether it's, you know, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, or whether it's teenagers, or whether it's adults trying to practice go, no-go type scenarios in there, yet without firing around. And to have this sort of technology available in a small town, kind of in the middle of nowhere, is absolutely unbelievable. Now, in addition to this sort of stuff, they have a huge selection of firearms that is unrivaled. Again, even in the larger city that I tend to go to work in on the weekends, they have a gun selection that far exceeds what you would normally expect to see at any normal, you know, traditional mom and pop gun store. And this is their Facebook page. And in fact, they are also having an open house on April 22nd and April 23rd, 2017. 10% off all items, including guns and ammunition. 20% off camo clothing and boots, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff as far as door prizes and that sort of thing. So if you're in the Northern Illinois area, definitely check out Smoke and Gun Works in Forston, Illinois.
Pretty cool. You said it's been there for a long time? Is it like family business?
Smoke and Gun Works has been in Forston for a long time. Their new building has just been there like a few months ago.
Where's Forston?
It is southwest of Rockford.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the middle of nowhere, huh? But I was going to say, middle of nowhere is relative nowadays with internet and Amazon and FedEx and whatever. You know, you might physically be out there, but you got no reason to stay out there. I mean, you can literally be in contact with the whole rest of the world more than ever before, right?
Right. But the diversity of what they offered, as well as, you know, you hear about these things in big towns, big cities all over the place, but to have the big city stuff available out, you know, where it's literally only a half hour from your house, it just kind of blows my mind away, because I'm not used to having, you know, the latest and the greatest. That's kind of a price you pay sometimes living out in a more rural area.
All right, awesome. So we try to feature our gun shop every day, and it sounds like Bob visited a couple tomorrow. We also have a bunch coming in email, so appreciate everybody that helps participate with the show that way. And again, that's one of the reasons we started doing the show on a daily basis, so that we could cover. I mean, we know there's a lot more than 365 gun shops out there. So really, every single day, we'd like to have a new shop in our spotlight. All right, so I guess we can.
Where we want to go next?
I guess we can do gun of the day. Do we have one? No, this one.
Sure. Let me get that web page up there. Chiapo Double Badger Combination.
Who put this one in there?
22.
I'm assuming Bob, because it's a Canadian gun shop.
That would be me.
Oh, okay.
Do you like this gun? Have you seen it? Did you look at it as shot?
Yeah, I actually kind of like. I mean, I like those little double guns anyway. I think they're a real handy little, say, throw in your backpack type gun, or maybe even as a something to have in your trunk of your car just in case, because you've got a 22 Magnum on the top and then a 410 on the bottom. So you've got the 410 with a slug in it's got some reasonable stopping power, and a 22 Magnum can take a lot of game. So, and so can the 410 as far as like birds and stuff. So, yeah, I think it's a really interesting little combination. They're not a bad, like the quality of them is pretty good. So, I kind of like them. I think they're a really neat little gun. I've always liked doubles anyway, like over and unders that were different calibers. I always thought that was kind of a cool option.
I'm also a fan of over or double butt guns where they're shotguns and rifles put together. And then I won't dispute this one is super well made, but what bugs me about it, the reason I don't like it, is this folding. If you're going to fold. Don't halfway fold and be huge. And it halfway folds and is huge. So I don't know why
I agree with that.
This one, why couldn't they? They could have done it a little bit differently, I think, and could have folded a little bit better. It's also,
really, you just.
I mean, all that wood is solid. It's super heavy.
Yeah, you just take it down. I mean, really, the best option, like I say, for a backpack gun or something like that is just take it down into the two pieces and stuff it in your backpack. It doesn't take more than a few seconds to snap them together. So.
Right, takedowns aren't typically designed to be like quick access or like quick to put together. They're just supposed to be smaller.
Yeah.
What I wonder is if they would have hinged it the opposite direction, they could have gotten a much more flatter fold.
Yeah, good idea.
I've actually seen it that way. Yeah.
Yep.
Because like the Keltec Sub 2000, I think folds the opposite direction.
I've actually seen little double barrel shotguns do that too.
Remington Derringer design.
No, if you're just looking for a bird gun or going out and shooting rabbits or something kind of gun, rabbits and I don't know whatever birds around, then yeah, it's super efficient and it's not a little takedown skeletonized thing that's wimpy. So I think as far as if you take the takedown part of it out of there and just call it a double gun, it's good to go. I mean, it's a little heavy, but not too bad and super well made. But I just try calling it a takedown.
Yeah, it'd be a great little gun for a kid to have for their first gun. Well, not a little kid, but a little bit older kid who maybe wants to go out and do some serious. I'm going to take some rabbits and I want to have something I can also take some birds with and stuff. Perfect little gun, like a really nice little bush gun for going through the bush and going after squirrels and rabbits and shit. You got the running shot, you use the shotgun. You got the, sitting still, you use the 22.
And that means time for the tactical quiz. Tactical quiz don't wait for nobody, Bob. So now we're doing our tactical quiz. It'll be a visual tactical quiz again today. Every Wednesday we do this. A lot of people look forward to it. So all the ladies are showing up today. So we got a bunch of pictures on the screen here. I'm going to need somebody to keep some track because I think there's a bunch of them, and it's going to be whoever gets the most of them out of the pile. So somebody around to be our scribe, or somebody in the audience could get our answer.
I can keep track of stuff with them. What's going on?
Okay, so they're going to have to keep track of a bunch of winners here because it'll be whoever wins the most or guesses the most out of these or correctly identifies the most out of these. So without any further ado, everybody can see my screen, I think. That's given plenty of time to lagging YouTubers to get ready for the tactical quiz. Of course, the Gun Channels people knew about this 30 seconds ago already, so we'll get into it. So this first one is Bob's gun. That doesn't count, so boom. First gun right here. First one to correctly answer this one. Use everybody's help on the watching the chats there for the first of our. This one's super simple too, so I'm going to assume we already have an answer.
Winner.
Double badger.
No, pink.
So pink, thanks. So Smeggy, the first one to be pink. Next, boom. Assuming you guys know what the gun is. What is this gun? Bob knows what it is. Jano might know what it is. Reggie won't know what it is because it's a revolver.
Well, we all know I don't know anything about revolvers.
Cop.
Is it a Wembley Mark V?
It is a Webley. Ding, ding, ding.
Right, that would be Sean Connery.
Yeah. The Mark
It's
V.
a 455, so whatever that one is.
Yep.
Next.
That's John.
What is this gun? Manufacturers will work. You don't have to know the caliber necessarily,
All right, cool.
even though it's obvious on this one because it says it right on there. And we're waiting for an answer. Enfield? No. Desert Eagle?
Oh, you got
John.
Connery again.
Yeah. Desert Eagle.
Ding, ding, ding.
Followed closely by Pink.
Who is this guy standing right here? And I'll zoom in a little bit. Bigger, I guess. Who is this guy standing here on the right, laughing?
Leaning on the desk.
Yep, leaning on the desk right here. Standing next, is that Carl from In Range right there, laying there?
I don't believe that is a Yube, by the way.
Nope, there's not Masada Yub. No,
I had no friggin' idea. That could be a correct answer, but that is not the answer we're looking for.
Correct.
That is clearly not Skinny Medic. Is it? That doesn't look like Rob Pincus.
Nope. I've never been to a Pincus class.
I think I might know who it is. No, that is not G. She's probably taking the picture, if I had to assume.
I'm taking a picture. It is not Joe Mama.
Well, yeah, clearly.
Might have him stumped.
I think we do. So y'all have to learn. I ain't gonna tell you. Next.
Nice.
What is it?
Ooh. Again, manufacturer will be fine.
Yeah. Well, they only make one. They said two different.
Well, I was going to say somebody's going to say the one, and that's going to be wrong, and then somebody will say the other one, which is correct.
Turbo Super Shorty.
Yep. Who was that?
Connery.
That's Connery.
Oh, what am I doing? Wrong button.
Connery flexing the muscles.
Man, over at YouTube was right behind him though. Clay, E-Rock, and Buzz Bombs all said the same thing.
Talked about this a little earlier. Should be easy.
Oh,
What's the question?
limited edition. Bing, bing, bing. Connery.
Again, he's just wiping.
Black.
Wiping the I mean, the accountant, probably. What do we got here?
Pink was
Oh.
right behind.
Really? I think I know what that is.
I
Yeah.
don't.
What?
I do, actually.
I have a guess.
I thought it was from one place, but I think it's from the other place.
They use these in Stargate, right?
PX4.
Oh, well then see. So you got a PX4. I don't think that's what it's called, though.
Galil, storm carbine.
Yeah, it's called a PX4 Storm, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Whoever said Storm first is the winner there.
Okay, well then that would be Angry.
Yep.
Okay.
Angry got
because
that?
he had said PX4. Yep.
Upper, we ain't giving them away.
I don't know myself.
Pretty easy. If you know guns. All you gotta do is know guns, and this one's easy.
Oh, and Moon's out there
Bicycle gun.
trying to say that was a CX4, not a PX4, but anyway.
Angry. He might be right. He might be right. I don't know enough about apparatus. But anyway, Angry got this one. It's a bicycle gun. Skeleton Eyes, cool 22s. Next.
Rolling right along.
There's a lot of these. That's why we needed somebody to help.
Man, and Clay is right behind.
Yeah, Clay's right, except he's on YouTube, which is wrong, because you should be on Gunshot.
Oh,
No,
bing,
left.
bing, bing, pink.
Chris Becker.
Well, he said Chris, even though
Yeah.
that's spelled wrong.
Pink said it right.
Right behind was Connery, who said Vector.
Yeah, Chris, though. Will work.
Okay,
So we
so
got a
Pink won that one.
Yep.
Who is this guy standing right here with his arms crossed?
The same guy in the classroom.
And there's Carl from In Range also. No, not the same guy in the classroom. Come on, not even look the same. Pretty iconic.
Let's see. Crisscross will make you jump, jump.
Come on.
Is that Vickers?
I don't know your other people. If it's not Vickers, it kind of does look like Vickers, but Vickers is not that svelte.
Currently.
Yeah, right now. I mean, yeah. No,
No,
this,
I do not believe that is Jaeger.
it's not Jaeger. No,
Is it Eric?
Eric.
I don't know.
He's just trying to ruin the competition. That's all.
No,
No,
I'm
it's a-
reading off the answers because I can't really see your screen because I have too much stuff open, so I don't even know what we're looking at. I'm just reading the answers that people.
We're looking
said.
at a dude with his arms crossed.
A two-gun axe match back in 2008 era. Got Yancey Harrington. We got Ian from In Range. You got Russell from Sinistro Rifleman. One of the best shooters in Arizona. One of the best shooters in the country.
Somebody said Marty Hayes.
It's not Marty Hayes. There was some grenade shenanigans at this particular match.
Oh,
Marty
Right.
Hayes.
You don't know. Start learning.
Marty Hayes.
no, that was incorrect.
Manufacturer of this lower. You guys don't know. You have to go learn. So what's the manufacturer of this lower?
All one piece.
Polymer. Made in Arizona.
Ooh, a hint. Made in Arizona. Tom Gibbons was another guess.
It was not Tom Gibbons. Looks a little different.
Armalite?
No, not an Armalite. They're not made in Arizona. They're made in Illinois, I think. Rock River? No, not Costa. Costa looks totally different.
BPMS, Saber.
Not a Colt.
Nope. Only one company.
Beltor?
Like this. Nope. They're made in Tucson, but not them. They're not made in Tucson. They're made in Phoenix. Were made in Phoenix. This is sad. Look at how many of these. So if you're like, oh, I could have won this. Yeah, you could have if you knew like 3 of these answers. I'm going to say it wasn't Tuller. Kind of almost looked like Tuller, but I've never seen him stand around looking like that. Usually he looks like Dano. Like, he doesn't look all tactical. He just looks like a regular guy. He doesn't look like all tactical usually. Bushmaster, nope. I guess at this one we're going to have to let this one go too. I don't want to say you all don't know stuff. You just don't know this stuff. So next, what are these? Matt's favorite guns. POF? No, that was a good one though. This is pretty easy. Can't believe we're not getting these. So Moon.
XDSs?
Yep. And you
That
got
would be
YouTube.
Moon with the XDSs.
You don't even have a chance, but Moon got that one. Those are a bunch of XDs. Next, what is this one?
Oh,
Easy.
yeah,
Just
nice.
giving this one away. Just giving you this one because I felt sorry for you because you didn't know any of the other ones. M88? No. XDS? Glock? Oh, come on.
Pug.
There you go.
Pug.
Moon.
That's no.
NA80.
Oh, yep. Right.
Pug.
Yep,
Right.
you're right.
Wait,
Boom.
who got that?
That was it.
Angry got that one.
Angry got the
And
last one.
Into the pictures.
We still don't have a guess, if you can believe it.
Who's the winner? This isn't an answer. This is just.
Oh, okay.
Just a guess up.
I think my math is up, but it's probably Ponnery.
Good
Yeah,
Connor.
Sean's got 4, Angry's got 3, Pink's got 2, Moon's got 1.
All right.
That was
well,
closer. That was pretty good.
we will throw this one out here to Henry to claim his prize. What we do is send people, am I still screen sharing? We send people over to our website, dailygunshow.com, and we have a patch panel with a bunch of patches that either we make here in Tucson or that we've had made from our designs. Some of them we bought at gun shows along the way or from websites and stuff. And then some of them have been donated to the cause here. So actually, if you want to wait, Sean, I will be posting pictures with the 6th edition of the Gun Channels patches and a couple that I bought off the web or off the Instagram the other day. So, and we'll kind of random them up. Looks like the door gunner is already gone. Raphael has that one. And I think a couple other ones might be missing off here. So if you want to wait an hour or so, then they'll have better pictures up there. But yeah, that's our tactical quiz. We do this every Wednesday. One of the reasons we started doing the show as well. We appreciate everybody that joins us live. And this time, like a lot of times, this was kind of focused on the people that are listening live. Every once in a while, though, if you're listening on the podcast, we do email versions of it. Or sometimes Dan will even do an email version of the pop quizzes so that you can participate as well. And I'm going to mention at that point that we did get quite a bit of feedback on our video comments that we hadn't been posting the podcast, and I did not realize. I thought I was a few days behind. I was back to like March. So I was way behind. Anyway, I posted all those up yesterday, so all the podcasts are fresh on iTunes. Sorry for being so late. I usually try to do that every couple of days, and I guess just other stuff happened over here, and I did not do it. So,
Well, I'm kind of surprised we got that feedback, because I think every time we've asked for feedback, the podcast crew has been quiet. So the fact that people do listen to it, I guess that's good to know that someone had the time to come over. And
if I don't post it ever, then the people that only listen as a podcast never get the request to tell us that they're out there, because they never had anything.
I know, but I mean, we've asked in the past, and I know I haven't gotten stuff back. So it's good to know that they exist.
And then again, if anybody does want to listen to this as a podcast, I've seen a couple of people post pictures on the Instagram just recently, even with like them working on their gun or something, or in the car, and they're talking about the podcast that they listen to. We never see anybody with, well, I haven't seen any recently for people listening to the Daily Gun Show. So we do appreciate, like Dana said, people that subscribe to our channel or that recommend the show to others. But if you can post the stuff on the social medias, that's what it's all about. So please let people know about the show.
And use hashtag Daily Gun Show.
On Instagram.
Anyway.
I mean, Echo says what?
It was so good you had to hear it twice.
So then why don't we go into some gun history? Every day when we can, we like to talk about what went on today in the past.
So, what happened today?
This one guy made a big thing about how he has 3 different things in the history thing.
Who's that?
He's muting himself. So
Not me.
I think I'm going to go backwards just to piss him off. Today was Fort Pillow Massacre. So this was the Pillow Fort Massacre, probably Canada. Union survivors accounted later, supported by federal investigation, concluded that the African-American troops were massacred by forest men after surrendering. Well, that's fucked up. So I never heard of that one before. But
what's screwed up about that is that you almost want to make a joke because it's the Pillow Fort, like, haha, you're playing in your living room, and then you hear what it actually is, like, oh, I can't joke about that.
Yeah, if I would have known what it was, I wouldn't have made that joke. But thanks for, yeah. So that's messed up. Also, the day that FDR died. I don't know why Daniel's not doing any of these. And then on this day, General Beauregard attacks the Civil War at Fort Sumter. Is that what started the freaking Civil War?
Yes,
sure.
And I don't know. I just realized I was muted. I couldn't figure out what. Nobody could hear me.
Oh.
It's like I'm talking. It's like, what do you mean I'm not doing? I'm talking. But yes, today was the beginning of the Civil War. That General Beauregard's attacks began at Fort Sumter, as well as today was the day that FDR died during World War II. That was April.
How weird is it that?
What?
Just gonna say, how weird is it that just the other day World War I started also, right? So what is it about this time of year that gets everybody all fucking upset with each other?
Right.
Yeah. Something weird going on there, right?
Winter's over and material can move more easily.
Yes, that's why, in 100 plus years ago, winter is traditional when wars would stop until spring came.
And didn't something happen like somebody launched 57 or 59 Tomahawks into Syria? Scary shit, eh?
Oh, is that what started it, or did somebody gas bomb a bunch of children?
Well, we don't know, right?
They missed one Canadian in particular, and they needed to be better about that.
I'm moving.
Wasn't the other day also the Miami FBI thing?
Was it?
Was that yesterday?
Oh, I don't even know about that one. I didn't see that anywhere, but I don't know if I know when that date was.
And I don't know the date for sure either. I just saw it come up through the Facebook post. So
And
I'm not 100%.
as an educational note to our viewers, if you are interested in just little tidbits where you bring them to the office, whatever, on kind of this day in history things, is history.com has this day in history that you can subscribe to, and they will send you an email on things that happened that day in history.
Well, one of the things that happened on this day was the Battle of Vimy Ridge. It started April 9th, and it was over by the 12th. And it was the first time that Vimy Ridge had been taken from the Germans, and it was taken by the Canadians.
Is Is this your revenge on us?
No, I'm just mentioning it because it's a big thing for us Canadians, right? Vimy Ridge was a big deal. It's like a 3-day battle, and we had 10,602 casualties.
Think about it this way, though. Bob brought that up the other day when it started, and now this is a couple of days later. Imagine being the poor sons of bitches who had to be fighting this entire freaking time. They didn't go home and do something else. They didn't take a break. They didn't have a shower. They didn't have whatever they felt like eating that day for dinner or whatever. They didn't have to go to work. They were freaking for their fucking lives right then, that whole time.
When you compare it to being in the trenches in World War I, it doesn't even compare.
Yeah, because it was actually, there was snowstorms and it was spring, so they were in mud and snow. And yeah, 3-day battle, man. Just,
I mean, the soldiers in World War I in the trenches had it much worse.
oh yeah. I can't imagine how people could keep going in those kind of conditions.
I mean, they were in the trenches for months.
Yeah, they wouldn't get taken out of the line for months. I mean, they wouldn't have like hot food for weeks and weeks. They wouldn't be dry for weeks and weeks.
All right. So that was our little history tips for today. Do we have anything else?
There's something on the gun movie, but I'm not sure what it is.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot our gun movie. So every day we try to feature a movie that has something to do with guns and talk about it. And this one came in from email a while back, and it's called The Getaway. The Gateway? No, The Getaway. What movie is this? Have you guys seen this one?
Depends on which Getaway we're talking about.
Oh, okay, we're talking about the good one. 1972 crime thriller directed by Sam Peckinpah, one of the best directors out there. Steve McQueen, driving around. And
was it Ally McGraw? Trying to think who the chick was.
Yep, Ally McGraw.
Yes. It was Ally
Fantastic
McGraw.
movie.
Yeah,
She
really
is a
good movie.
cutie pie.
Steve McQueen, excellent actor. Excellent automobile chase type stuff. I mean, not as good as Bullet or anything like that, but Sam Peckinpah, good stuff.
Yep.
Interesting side note, when McCoy, Steve McQueen, fires 1911, a Star Model B is substituted as the Colt was not reliable with blanks. Little side note,
really?
little history.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it only shoots real bullets.
Well,
Uh-huh.
real or not, it's part of the movie magic.
That's true. Yeah,
Truly.
it's in order to make the gun function with blanks, they had to use a different gun because they wanted to show that action functioning. There you go. Eh?
So, does anybody else have any comments about this movie or what they're going to rate it?
Oh, it's a
pretty sure
2
I'll give it
thumbs
a
up.
2 thumbs up, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I'll probably go back and watch it now after all this.
Allie
Yeah.
is a cutie.
Well, it's Steve McQueen. How can it not be a good movie? Every movie he's in has been fantastic, as far as I can remember.
Well, just flipping through the screen captures on the IMDb, definitely looks like set in the 70s, so I'm going to dig it no matter what because of the old 70s stuff going on. And looks like there's all kinds of, what's this revolver? All kinds of cool revolvers in it, and a couple 1911s. Very gunnish movie, it looks like. I think I'm mixing this one up with the World War II movie, so I definitely need to go see
Look
this
at Great
one.
Escape.
Yeah, I'm mixing it with that one, I think. Or I was remembering that one, I think.
Also Steve McQueen.
Yep.
They're showing a couple of scenes of the gun shop. And that's kind of cool, too, to see an old 70s gun shop.
They're sitting down, smoking cigarettes and having a cup of coffee.
No picnic table, but a lot of wood paneling and guns on the wall with nails. It's kind of cool.
Nice. Rust? We don't worry about no stinking rust.
All right, so yeah, every day
Yeah,
we
I
try to
definitely give it.
I think we're all giving it 2 thumbs up, except for Smeggy. He's never seen it.
Yep,
Okay, so-
you're probably right.
Yeah, Smeggy is one of those poor young'uns who just has never seen a good movie in his life, really.
Well, that's one of the things that we do. One of the features of our show is we provide that service. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much wrapped up with episode 288. Pretty much right on the dot for 90 minutes. I'm going to mention that Matt is going to have an actual communist on his live show this evening. So we start talking about what's on gun channels tonight. We encourage everybody to head over to Matt's Never Enough Ammo. Sounds like he's going to try to have a nice, sober, real discussion with this guy who's a commie, or communist. I shouldn't say that. We're going to be talking to him. And, you know, as much as you don't agree with them, it's nice to have the opportunity to have an actual conversation with somebody. So thanks for Matt for not only doing the show for freaking many years now, but also for attempting to bring some more facets to it.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually pretty good.
Take a moment to remind y'all, if you like the Muzzle and Mic patch and you'd like to pick one up, head on over to dailygunchannels.com. There's a link right there. Just click on it and buy one for your own. Buy one for your friends.
Wait, where did you send them to?
dailygunshow.com.
dailygunshow.com.
You did say Daily Gun Channel, though.
Hey,
But that's all right.
I have some personal issues.
Thanks, Megan.
I know. We all understand. You have to listen to what Dano means, not what he says.
So I think Smeggy just got one, and he said they came out okay. He might have stepped away. So he was just showing it to me before the show, and it looks like it came out decent. So I don't know if I haven't ordered one yet. So that was our first customer feedback or whatever. Our first person actually had one in hand. So they should be good to go.
Cool.
All right, with that, I guess we'll end episode 288. We want to thank again everyone who joins us live, and new welcome to the iTunes people. We are still kicking. We just had missed posting the shows on a regular basis there for a bit. I apologize for that. But I think unless anybody else has anything else, we'll encourage you to head over to Matt's show. Tomorrow, we should have Carl from InRange talking about new media. So if you're not familiar with InRange TV, Carl is the guy that works with Ian on Forgotten Weapons. He was in a couple of the pictures, two of the pictures that we showed from training classes here in Arizona. I've been interested in firearms training since 2004, and literally almost every single class I've attended to either review or participate in, Carl has been there. He puts his money where his mouth is. He's a shooter. He has the skills he has because of knowledge and experience. So in addition to his firearms knowledge, he's a brilliant person, and he's got a lot of good insight on new media. So that's a big facet of our show. We dedicate a portion of the show every Monday to encourage people to use these new media channels, the different social media platforms, and the ways of communicating with phones and computers and whatnot. And Carl's always been on top of that. And if we can figure out how to get him on here with his work schedule, we'll have him on for a segment of the show tomorrow. We'll also be talking about cardio training or cardio exercising, I guess, or something for your training regime. And then for the gun stuff, we'll be talking about the 10 types of gun owners. I think somebody did a video on that. We'll be discussing that. Of course, all of our normal daily stuff as well. So we encourage you to come back tomorrow. And I think Bob will probably take over and say a quote here. And I want to let people know that there'll be a very, very adults-only ending to the show today. So pretty explicit. If you have tender ears or you have youngins listening, you'll want to shield their ears at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. Not for
Very
me.
explicit.
All right. So we like to end our show with a quote. This one's by Theodore Roosevelt. But before that, I just want to remind everybody, please subscribe, please share, and hit that thumbs up. If you can think of anybody that might want to watch the show, send them over to the Daily Gun Show. Yeah, on that point, we'll just have our quote from Theodore Roosevelt, wonderful president. 9/10 of wisdom is being wise in time. And that's our quote for today. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching and listening, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay, I totally screwed up everything, but here's what we'll do.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.
Fuck your guts, nigger. Another one, you rich motherfucker.